Before the Grammys, before platinum plaques and sold out tours, there was a garage in Houston with 2 mics and a dream shared by 2 unlikely partners. Paul Wall and Chamillionaire, one white, one black, raised in Houston, but drawn together by a shared obsession with bars, beats, business, and that H-Town culture. In a city already bubbling with talent, DJ Screw had carved out a sonic blueprint, and Swishahouse had planted the underground flag in North Houston. Paul Wall and Chamillionaire weren't just trying to join the movement, they wanted to redefine it. This wasn't about race, it was about work ethic, strategy, unity, and for a moment, the Color Changin Click felt like the future, a post-racial blueprint for how hip-hop in the South could rise. This is a story of what happens when hustle trumps everything else, when 2 visionaries build a brand before they even sign a deal, when a diamond grill enthusiast and a lyrical tactician break through the noise in one of the most competitive, respected cities in hip-hop. Before the majors came calling, before the headlines, there was the bond. This is the story of Paul Wall versus Chamillionaire. In the early 2000s, Houston's rap scene was exploding with potential. DJ Screw had changed the sound of Southern hip-hop forever with his chopped and screwed style. Swishahouse was leading the North Side wave. But while names like Lil Kiki, Fat Pat, and Big Mo held it down in the Screwston legacy, a new generation was coming. That's where Paul Wall and Chamillionaire came in. Both were interns at a Houston radio station, KBXX 97.9, The Box, doing street teamwork and passing out flyers. That's where they first crossed paths. Paul Wall was from the North Side, white, but deeply tapped into Houston's black hip-hop culture. Cam was the son of a Nigerian immigrant, raised with discipline and lyrical precision. On paper, they had nothing in common, but on wax, they were fired together.
And Paul, we known each other since we were just high, man, you know what I'm saying? So 8 years old, man.
That's lovely.
That's why we vibe so good together, you know?
What school y'all went to?
Oh, man, that's all.
They formed the Color Changin Click, blending sharp bars with grassroots hustle. Their early mixtapes like Get Your Mind Correct sold over 150,000 copies independently, making them underground kings across Texas before most of the country had even heard their names. This wasn't just about music. It was about flipping the traditional model. No label, no budget, just consistency, word of mouth, and straight to the street strategy. The name Color Changin Click was more than a gimmick. It symbolized their hustle. Like the color shifting paint on Houston slabs, they could adapt to any sound, any audience, any pressure. They weren't just changing colors, they were changing the game. From selling mixtapes out the trunk to lighting up Times Square, Paul Wall and Chamillionaire weren't just local legends anymore. They were Houston's new wave, ready to take over the industry. By 2004, the South had kicked down the doors of hip-hop, and the majors couldn't ignore the noise coming out of Texas. Chamillionaire signed with Universal, while Paul Wall inked a deal with Atlantic. What happened next was nothing short of legendary. Paul Wall dropped The People's Champ in 2005, a love letter to Houston filled with syrupy flows, custom grills, and trunk-rattling beats. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and went platinum. His single, Sittin' Sideways, became a Southern anthem, while his collab with Kanye West on Drive Slow took him global. Chamillionaire followed with The Sound of Revenge, a darker, more socially conscious record. It included Riding Dirty, the crossover smash that not only topped the charts, but earned him a Grammy for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group. He became the first solo Houston rapper to win a Grammy, cementing his spot in rap history.
Hey, Cam has his own way of thinking, and Paul has his own way of thinking. And nobody was really going to compromise towards the other, you know what I'm saying?
I had my set of friends, he had his set of friends, and, you know, it was like, when the money, especially when the money came into the picture, you know, I felt we should do this with the money, he felt like he should do that with the money. We just, you know, we just stopped getting along.
This was Houston's golden era. Between Mike Jones, Slim Thug, UGK's resurgence, and Bun B's solo run, the whole city was eating. But at the heart of that wave were 2 guys who started off pressing CDs in their garages. For a moment, the world moved at a Houston tempo, slow, loud, and full of pride. But even as the diamonds shined and the deals piled up, something was bubbling beneath the surface. Fame brings opportunity, but it also brings pressure. And the unity that built the movement, it wouldn't last forever. But behind the platinum smiles and shining grills, the Color Changin Click was slowly unraveling. What started off as a tight-knit crew bound by shared dreams and Houston's iconic music and screwed up culture began to fracture under creative differences and personal tension. The city of Houston, known for its slow, syrupy beats and laid-back vibe, was entering a new era, one fueled by digital platforms, social media, and changing music consumption habits. But not everyone was ready for the shift. Amidst this evolution, Chamillionaire's younger brother Rasaq, a rising rapper with his own ambitions, clashed with Paul Wall. The dispute, fueled by long simmering tensions, eventually escalated into a physical fight.
Chamillionaire's brother got jumped by Paul Wall and like 5 people.
No arrests were made, but the incident left a lasting scar on the brotherhood. What was once a symbol of unity started to look like a cautionary tale about loyalty and business. Still, this fallout didn't just mark the end of the Color Changin Click. It symbolizes Houston's move from the analog era of mixtapes, block parties, and face-to-face hustle to the digital age, where social media, streaming platforms, and online branding became king. Both Paul Wall and Chamillionaire had to navigate this changing landscape in different ways. Paul Wall embraced his OG status, continuing to ride the wave of Houston's cultural legacy. He stayed connected to the community, mentoring new talent, and keeping the grill game alive while adapting to the digital distribution and online engagement. Chamillionaire, on the other hand, pivoted entirely, using his tech-savvy mindset to become a pioneer in the startup world, invested in companies before the masses caught on, proving he could succeed both on and off the mic. Yet despite the personal fallout, both men represent two sides of Houston's resilient spirit, rooted in tradition, but unafraid to innovate and evolve.
It's a personal thing that go on between us. It's more than just, you know what I'm saying, us talking on records, you know what I'm saying? It's real personal. If I see them, then it's gonna be a problem, you know what I'm saying?
In the years since the Color Changin Click split up, Paul Wall and Chamillionaire have become reflections of two divergent roads, each rooted in the same soil, but headed in drastically different directions. Paul Wall stayed in the trenches, still rocking diamond grills, still repping Screwston, and still showing love to the culture that raised him. He never tried to be more than what he was, a Houston original. Whether he's in the booth with new blood like that Mexican OT, or showing up at car shows in a candy-painted slab, Paul Wall stayed 10 tones down in Texas. He kept the grill business booming, made music on his own terms, and became a respected OG, someone younger rappers go to for cosigns and the game.
Cause I ain't never been on none of that stuff, you know. I've always been the type of rapper where, you know, and just the type of person where if somebody gonna diss me on a tape or somebody gonna say something about me, then, you know, I'm not gonna rap about them, I'm gonna go beat them up or something, you know.
Chamillionaire, though, he took a hard left. After the Grammy and platinum plaques, he disappeared from the rap spotlight, not because he fell off, but because he saw the future. He moved to California and became a tech investor before it was cool, buying early stakes in companies like Lyft, Ring, and Maker Studios. He became a silent powerhouse, using the same business savvy that pushed mixtapes out the trunks to flip equity in startups worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And while Paul Wall was keeping the slab culture alive with features and freestyle sessions, Chamillionaire was quietly mentoring Black entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, working behind the scenes to create generational wealth outside the spotlight. The fans took notice. On Reddit, on TikTok, and on hip-hop Twitter, they still debated who won in the long run, the street legend who stayed down or the mogul who played the long game. Paul Wall and Chamillionaire started with nothing but a microphone, a shared dream, and a chopped and screwed city behind them. What they built together helped redefine Southern rap, not just in Houston, but across the globe. But with success came fractures. Brother turned against brother. Color Changin Click crumbled under the weight of ego, ambition, and conflicting vision for the future. Chamillionaire didn't just leave Paul Wall behind, he left rap behind. But he didn't disappear, he just reappeared somewhere else. Venture capital summits, on CNBC, in the boardrooms of Silicon Valley. He took the same independent Texas grind and applied it to a different hustle. Quiet, calculated, profitable. By 2024, he'd become a case study, not just in hip hop, but in business. Paul Wall never left. He never stopped putting on for Houston, still putting on for the same community and events, still making records, still collabing with the next wave, whether it's that Mexican OT or Sauce Walker. His heart never left the H. His voice still echoes in barbershops, car clubs, and studios from Acres Home to A-Leaf. Fans still speculate, was it ever really about money or was it about respect? Paul Wall says he has no ill will. Chamillionaire hasn't dropped a diss track in decades. But when asked about the past, there's always a pause, like there's more they're not saying. And yet, their story remains bigger than just falling out. It's about the duality of Texas hustle, street loyalty versus corporate elevation, candy paint and code switching. One built his legacy with freestyles, the other built his legacy with funding rounds. Both left their mark. Maybe they'll never make another record together. Maybe they don't need to. But when the city rides slow and the speaker's not just right, it still sounds like Paul Wall and Chamillionaire built it together.